show conspiracy theories. Never heard of them, have you?
No, I just know the truth. Because welcome to the BDB podcast, the long-awaited conspiracy theory episode. And the BDB stands for the Bureau's Defying Bureaucracy. But we know the truth. It's kind of crazy how the media covers everything up.
Oh, yeah, no, dude. I don't trust media at all. I'm starting to sound crazy, but I swear to God I don't.
You've only got one source of news you should trust.
TikTok.
The
BDB podcast.
Fox News is the only media you should trust.
When the whole, riots were going on in, France, if you, no media or anybody was covering it, so, if you went on, Instagram and you typed in France, it would just show up, pretty pictures of, Paris and all that shit. But if you go on TikTok and you type in France, it would show, videos from the, riots and fucking protests and all that shit.
Yeah, it's just media
what was
suppression.
Actually going on, yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing new.
I mean, TikTok really is still the Wild West of...
It really is.
Social media apps or whatever, because it's a Chinese company, which is really weird, they don't actually have that much suppression except for their own country. Because TikTok in itself is a whole nother conspiracy of where they've put it out, and in China it's advertised as a learning app, something like that, but in all the other countries around the world,
where you can learn the truth.
Just fake-ass media and stuff to tick down your time of how much you waste instead of doing anything productive or learning or whatever. So TikTok is actually here to make us dumber, but at the same time, it makes us smarter by knowing the truth.
Those who know where to look.
There's plenty of things that are good on TikTok, and there's plenty of things that are terrible on TikTok.
My For You page, for example.
Yeah, Ben's For You page on the terrible spectrum.
But it's also, great. You know?
No, it's not good.
But there's plenty of people on TikTok that are actually, trying to do, trying to teach people things. I follow so many motorcycle guys about, teaching people how to ride bikes. There's this one dude that's, everyone's dad. And he, posts videos of, how to do basic,
tie a tie
basic,
shave.
dad things. Yeah. That's really cool.
How did you guys, this is a tangent, how did you guys learn how to shave? Because I was just handed a razor and told that my lip looks like dirt.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I only use an electric razor, honestly. I've never, shaved with a blade.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
But also, I mean, it's not like I really need it.
Not even, in the beginning before you, started? Really?
I think Jace just got his first lip hair and roll with it.
Aliens, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, they even confirmed it. The government confirmed.
Absolutely.
Oh, the government confirmed.
The government didn't confirm shit, okay? A former Air Force pilot or whatever the fuck he was. He turned into a whistleblower, went in front of a court and confirmed the existence of non-biologicals, and they didn't call them UFOs, but they're essentially UFOs. They were what did they say?
What did they say?
Basically, they confirmed that there have been hundreds of sightings of UFOs and confirmed non-human biologics found in crash sites. So, at this point, I mean, if you're a hater, fuck it, whatever. But it's kind of hard to refute. Mm-hmm. It's very low chances already before that we were alone in this universe. But
I also feel, I was going to say, I also feel like it's kind of a good thing that it was confirmed in a way. Because, again, it would be, I think it would be more terrifying if there wasn't the possibility of life in this.
No, there 100% is. Because you got to think about all the other planets that NASA has found that we could live on. Granted, they're like thousands of light years away, and we wouldn't be able to reach them.
The other thing is, too, because light travels at the speed that it does, we're seeing it in the past. So there could be life on it right now.
There could be life on fucking wherever the fuck.
There could be
literally
a podcast.
Anywhere.
BDB.
There could be a whole nother podcast.
What about multiverses?
Just talking an alien language.
Multiverse theory.
Do you guys believe in multiverse theory?
I think about it all the time, actually.
Yeah.
All the time.
And I'm not talking the stupid fucking Marvel or DC comic book multiverse. I'm thinking
You're telling me Spider-Man's not real?
Maybe somewhere, man.
Batman?
I don't know, but I believe personally that for every choice you make, there is an alternate universe where you made the opposite choice.
Yeah. So I think about that anytime I have like a close call on like my bike or in my car or anything like that. I'm thinking like, I bet you in another universe I just died right there,
Yeah.
just right on the road.
I think that's real shit.
Yeah.
It's really
I don't know why I think about it all the fucking time.
it's really trippy to think about because even with the idea of life on different planets, our galaxy and universe is so wide and expansive. The idea of there being a different path for every single scenario, like for a butterfly effect, is so
Jinx.
fucking mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that context, you talk about major events or minor events. So me speaking and stuttering and fucking up a movement or just moving my hand differently, that would cause a different universe.
Mm-hmm.
Which then it brings up the concept of time not being linear, or it is linear in different universes, which, what the fuck?
I mean, time in and of itself is conceptual.
Time is a man-made construct.
Yeah.
But is it though?
It is.
Because it's used to define, I mean, I guess it's the same thing as gravity. Because it's used
Gravity is
it's
not a
used to
concept.
define something.
Gravity
is something that actually physically exists. Time is man-made. So if I say a year's passed, that means nothing to anybody but us.
Well, yeah, well then you could say, okay, I guess it's more of the word given to it. Because we know that from this point to this point, we have given it the name a second, but it passes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the passage of time is real,
So-
but time in and of itself is a concept
Yeah,
that
made by
we
humans.
that we have made. The passage of time is real.
So time.
No?
Because you can't have the passage of time be real if a third of that phrase isn't real.
But I don't think you're getting what we're saying
So,
over on the DB side.
well, because you're going a little too far into it. Because obviously, like, we made the word time. You know what I mean? But
The definition
the way that we define time means
is all
nothing to
conceptual.
anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the same way that we define gravity can mean nothing to somebody else because because
'Cause
the
gravity
increments
Gravity
that we
is
use
different.
to define it are made
Okay,
by
see,
us.
that's
No,
that's
'cause-
when you're pulling it into like, oh, we invented the English language, so therefore every single word we invented is a concept. No. Gravity works on everything.
Just
Gravity
in what
is
amount
everywhere.
is different.
Sure, we measure
We measure it in our own way.
So we measure time in our own way too.
Yes, but that's not what we're saying. Time is incalculable.
an enigma,
Yes.
if you will.
Don't look at me like you've made a point. What the fuck? Is Bigfoot real?
Could be.
But is it a thing? Do you think that people haven't discovered? Because granted, we're still discovering species every day. Hank Green's recent video talking about giraffes,
Giraffes?
where we have discovered many new giraffe species since 2017.
Well, I'm sure that it's possible.
But do you think there'd be so many sightings around the entire world with so many different names, so many folklore, so many myths around it?
Skunk ape, yeti, Bigfoot,
I'm
Sasquatch.
sure that
Yowie.
there probably is.
And conveniently, one man in Oregon filmed a Sasquatch walking.
That was just a fucking. That was a dude in a costume. That's all that was.
Well, it's sort of like the whole alien thing. Like, you know, everyone can claim that they've seen aliens, but which one's actually right, you know? Who's doing it for attention and who actually like saw an alien?
So then I'm guessing Nessie is not on your list of things that are real. The Loch Ness Monster.
I've never seen it. I mean, I think the idea of one singular plesiosaur surviving in Loch Ness for the past 100 years. I think that's a bit improbable. I don't know how long the lifespan of a plesiosaur is, but if I had to guess, it probably wouldn't survive off of the few fish that it could eat in Loch Ness for this long.
True. apparently, if I remember correctly, they're doing a giant sweep of Loch Ness. I think that might have already happened in like the past week, but apparently, it's gonna be a big thing.
Why don't they sonar ping Loch Ness like they did looking for the fucking Titan sub?
Birds.
Birds?
Birds.
Cameras.
Some of them.
Did they work for the bourgeoisie?
They don't work for the bourgeoisie, but Ronald Reagan, during his presidential span, at the point where he was lucid and his wife wasn't running the country for him, enlisted the CIA to create lifelike birds, lifelike cameras, bird-like cameras, if you will. And they, much like the Norse god Odin, who had ravens to spy, implemented the same sort of idea, but with cameras. And that's why you see birds on telephone poles. God, they're trying to get to me. Birds. They're charging, exactly. The camera batteries are recharging on the telephone poles. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
You just had to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You should have talked about this last.
I mean, you guys, almost everybody's aware of Project MK Ultra.
That was one of the ones that I was going to talk about.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah, almost everybody. Let's
Jake, do
talk
you know
about
what
it
it
for
is?
the viewers because they probably don't know.
Do you know MK Ultra?
No.
Oh.
That was what I was saying.
That was government.
Is he mowing
Is
the
that
lawn
a fucking
now?
weed whacker?
They're trying some really
They are trying to
ways.
suppress us.
The fucking pressure
Oh, it's
washer.
a pressure washer.
Steve, shut the fuck up.
I want y'all's full thoughts on the moon landing. Is the sky
So-
even real?
So when we talk about the moon landing, are we also talking about the International Space Station?
We are just the moon landing.
Just the moon landing.
Are you going to tell me that you don't think the space station's real?
I'm not going to say that.
Oh, dude,
Why?
every like almost every video they've shown from the ISS, I believe, has been faked.
Oh, yeah.
Like those are
Well,
just people on streets.
Really?
I believe that there is a space station. I really doubt that there's that many people in it.
Like 14?
Yeah. No. Have you seen the videos of them in the space station?
No.
It's
so fake.
terribly
It's
fake.
so fake.
It is.
Really?
it
You
is-
can like
you
see
can al-
the strings.
Yeah, there's also a clip of somebody walking through one of the like NASA offices, and you can see from the video they just showed you, one of the guys is standing there in front of a blue screen with like a floating mug, like hanging by a string.
Yeah.
You can see it in the background if
There's
you zoom in and
no
focus on it.
way.
It's a clip that you had just seen
Fuck's
seconds
sakes.
prior. And also, like you can see them do this a lot, grab around this area, just in the air for no fucking reason. And one of the chicks, her hair is like floofed up. Her hair doesn't move independently at all.
It stays
So you'd
where it
think
is.
when she turns her head, her hair would like flop around a little bit. Stays perfectly still, like she hairsprayed it up.
Yeah, I've never seen.
You should watch the footage.
Huh. Interesting.
You really should
So
watch
you-
it.
Look
So
into the
you-
real truth.
You
Jason.
don't
So-
think.
But
there are
when
people
it
on the
comes
space
to the
station.
moon
There's
landing,
people on the
But the
ISS.
video is
The
presented.
vi-
as fake.
the videos presented were most definitely faked. And
God,
so
you
when
guys
it
are
comes to
fucking
the
crazier
moon,
than I am. What the fuck?
when it comes to the moon,
You just haven't
landing-
seen the videos, man. We're not crazy.
Crazy.
I was crazy
Crazy
once.
That's
They
somebody
locked me on a
else's
space
inside
station.
joke.
That means we can use it. Anyways, okay, the moon. Jeez.
So, in my humble opinion, I believe the moon landing did happen, but I don't believe it happened when they said that it happened. Because it was this whole giant race to the moon.
Right.
We were racing Russia.
You don't think America's just was that good back then that we got there
We didn't
first?
even have like the technology to put wheels on suitcases yet. Also, if you ask NASA today, hey, why haven't we gone to the moon again? They say we don't have the technology for that.
I don't think that's what they say.
Go ahead, call up NASA right now. Go ahead, give them
Give him a ring.
a ring.
You
Ask
know,
'em.
if Pound didn't answer, I really don't think that NASA's gonna fucking pick up. No. Yeah, I don't think it's.
But no, they're on record saying we don't have the technology to do that right now.
Is it technology or funding?
Because it's definitely funding. It's definitely funding.
They get like $3 billion a year.
How much money do you think it costs to go to space, guy?
So, I was actually looking into like base. So
I was looking at based.
When I was gonna talk about the moon landing, but I decided not to. But I looked into it, and I was like, okay, how much money does NASA get funded from the government a year? And it's about $3 billion. Okay.
I think it takes about $1 trillion to go to the moon, if I had to guess.
And then I looked at like their staffing, and I looked at the average salary for staff, and I put it at the bottom end of the average. Okay. And I did that by all of their staff. Okay. Surely there are plenty of people making a lot more. It wasn't a lot. I want to say it was between like 40 and 70,000 was the bottom end. And I did it bottom end because I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Bottom end for everybody. So that's not saying CEOs, because I'm sure the CEO of NASA is making a lot more than the bottom end of the average.
So
because that's like bottom pay scale.
Did you Google how much it takes to go to the moon?
I Googled how much does the U.S. spend on space. NASA's budget increased by 3% in the fiscal year of 2022, up to $24 billion. So what fucking numbers are you trying to lie to us about, guy? You got a swim cap under that fucking...
We can't trust the internet anymore, dude. Because if they have that much money, why haven't we sent a little...
How much money are we giving to Space Force?
One of the real reasons they don't go to the moon is because there's nothing that we can learn.
Us.
So the reason I asked about the moon landing and stuff is because recently India sent a rover up to the moon, and this was their 4th attempt onto the moon. It's unmanned, but it was to the dark side of the moon. But so that's why I asked, because if the moon landing back then was faked by the U.S., the way I view it, I think we went. I know we went.
Okay.
But I do believe
we don't know anything.
that there was doctored footage added into it. So I don't think they got enough footage. I don't think they got enough footage while on the moon. So they recreated some of it back home.
That sounds like something a government guy would say. He just eye twitched. He's a fucking robot.
He's a fucking rat. I'll tell you what. I don't know if you guys care what I have to say about it.
No. Okay.
So the next topic. Sports.
All right. Say what you're going to say.
It's fine.
All right.
No, we definitely went to the moon. But I'm more in Jake's camp on that, where I don't think any of the footage that was shown was actually from the moon landing. And there's like a lot of hints that point to Stanley Kubrick having directed the actual footage of the moon landing. There's a lot of hints in a lot of his movies. Yeah, I mean, that's just my 2 cents. The only example that I can think of offhand of like hinting at it in a movie was Danny's sweater in The Shining, and then the number that he always repeats in all of his movies that was like some number that was involved with the moon landing that I can't fucking remember. But yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. We went, and I think we just put the footage out to like be like, hey, we did it first.
Fuck you, Russia.
That's exactly what I think. I think we went, probably not when we said we did. I also don't know if Neil and Buzz actually went. I don't know if it was actually them. I think they were figureheads. I think they were
industry plants.
I think they were plants, yeah.
Fully confident they went. We went to the moon.
Neil Armstrong was ready to say something. They killed him. Buzz Aldrin was a tight-lipped little do-gooder.
They're putting chemicals in the water that turn the frogs gay, and you're worried about the BDB today? Get this man another layer of tinfoil.
They actually, that chemicals in the water turn frogs gay thing is real.
Oh, dude, that's one of my things.
It's
I'm
also
not
one
even
of mine.
kidding.
Atrazine.
Estrogen.
Atrazine.
You don't know what atrazine is. Hit me with. I want to learn. Hit me with it.
So there's, I don't remember what chemical, what plant it is, but it was having runoff from their production, and it was getting into ponds and lakes, and it was producing this chemical called atrazine that wasn't necessarily turning frogs gay, but the frogs were becoming hermaphroditic from the chemicals.
That's a big word. Go ahead and explain it for the viewers. I mean, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
just the viewers.
It was producing same-sex organs in the same frog. So
a frog would have a dick and a vagina at the same time?
I don't know if frogs have dicks.
That's fair.
I didn't research that far, but they have sperm and ovary.
Okay.
And so they would just have frorgies.
Mine relates to water as well. My small one. I have a small one and a big one.
Nice.
And,
He's a hermaphrodite.
He is. Which one's the big one, Jake? You can be honest with us.
it's not in my pants. Tell you that.
Both would be.
It's up his ass.
It's only 2
Because
inches.
he had atrazine.
There's a fuck ton of estrogen in the water, which is not great. Testosterone levels in men are at like an all-time low in history, and part of the reason is,
We drink too much water.
yeah, no,
We need to
seriously.
drink more beer. I'm so
More
sorry.
Red
One
Bull,
commenter that
more
said stop
beer."
drinking beer.
But it's from birth control.
Because they be pissing birth
They'd be
control.
pissing birth control back into the water, and like regular filtration doesn't filtrate. Bitch troach.
It's the government. The
They're
government
trying to censor us.
suppress
While
us.
we were setting this up, there wasn't a single fucking car that went by
Can we go cut a tree down or something so we can
and
like,
block the road.
fuck yeah, make it real quiet.
And I already forgot what I was saying. What was I
They're
at?
pissing birth control into the
Yeah,
water.
so
making
they're
our
pissing.
wieners
So
small.
regular filtration systems don't filter out hormones. There's only like 2 ways to filter out hormones, and it's with carbon filtering and ionizing. But anyways, you would think like you're good for drinking purified water, but it's actually worse in bottled water. It's 3 times higher, the estrogen is, than in tap water. It's still really high in tap water.
So we need to be drinking that Flint, Michigan water,
Yeah,
where it's just
facts.
pure,
just
right
pure.
from the source.
So Jake, because yours was actually really interesting to me, I did a little deep dive into it.
On the estrogen one?
Yeah, very very shallow deep dive.
Oh, shit.
But
I
still
did
a deep dive.
I
it
did a
was
triple
shallow.
McTwist into the 2-foot part of the pool.
But yeah, no, it's worse in bottled water because the plastic, it's like
The microplastics.
PER or some shit actually like makes the hormone. I don't know if it like
PR
multiplies
makes
it.
the hormone, huh?
I never heard of a hormone.
It's unfortunate for you. But no,
So,
I
yeah,
actually
we're
I actually looked into this. I'm not saying you're wrong because I believe your theory, but 90% allegedly.
All right.
Huh?
We're all right. We all have contradictory
It's the truth,
viewpoints, and
Jason.
everybody's right because that's how conspiracy theories work.
Hit me with it.
90% goes into wastewater, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But the estrogen in the water supply of drinkable water supply accounts only for about 1% that comes from
Where'd you get that? A
birth
government
control pills.
website? Huh? Did you
Yeah,
get
did
that
you
on
get
a
that from the
government
CDC
website?
or something?
maybe.
Fucking
But
knew it. Fucking knew it. They're
most of the
trying to
estrogen in drinking
suppress
water
the
comes from
truth.
other sources, such as livestock. Because livestock is such a very prevalent thing
Well, no.
that fucks up every water supply, the ozone layer, the everything.
Well, yeah, no. The birth control thing wasn't like the primary contributor, but it was a contributor to all the hormones in the water.
It's like saying me recycling that one bottle. I'm the problem with the world.
You are the problem. There was this dude who lived in Japan for a year, and he didn't work out, didn't do anything. He ate whatever the fuck he wanted, and he was super like healthy, super in shape, like everything was good in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he moved back to America, and now he's like exercising like 4 days a week, like eating as healthy as he possibly can, and he is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, like not the good bigger.
Oh no, that's absolutely well known. The amount of shit that America produces into its food
Yeah.
is insane. I have a friend who just moved down to Australia, already dropped like 10, 15 pounds in the week that they've been there.
Mhm.
Not week, month that they've been there. it is genuinely insane the different qualities of food around the world. Because it kind of happens less in Europe, but like it's very prevalent in America that like companies can just kind of hide shit in product descriptions because nobody's going to look at the back of their fucking beef and go like, there's nowhere here does it say beef. The food thing is actually really trippy. Like one of the reasons I want to travel is because I would find it fascinating to see around the world the different types of food and like how it changes how I feel. Because I can eat like a nice hearty meal here, but that hearty meal has so much extra added shit in it from the farm, from just anywhere that it comes from.
GMOs, high fructose corn syrup.
That's the other thing too. High fructose corn syrup. That's nuts.
Oh, it's very, very bad for you. Yeah.
And very
and
prevalent
it's in everything.
In every American food. But again, you go over to Europe, none of this shit is there, which is probably why they have a happier and healthier lifestyle.
You ever seen England? I don't think I'd be happy there.
You guys know who Sigmund Freud is?
Oh,
yes.
So,
Mr. Fuck Your Mom.
He's often referred to as the father of modern-day psychology for the viewers. He's written so many books.
For the uneducated.
Basically did, like, psychoanalytics and all that bullshit. But anyways, his nephew...
I like Pavlov better.
His nephew...
I like the doggy.
Edward...
Snowden.
Edward Bernays took his teachings from Sigmund Freud and used them to give to these big corporations like General Mills and shit like that. So basically he's quoted like basically coming up with plans for advertising campaigns and all that shit to manipulate people's needs and desires. He's on record saying people must be trained to desire, to want new things, even before their old things haven't been entirely consumed. We must shape a new mentality. Men's desire must overshadow his needs. And so he basically got together with these big corporations and like sold them on how to manipulate people with advertising and food and all that shit.
Yeah. I mean, that goes along with like the like brain's response to certain colors as well. You know, it's like red and yellow are
make you like hungry.
Make you hungry. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, all the main fast food places use like shades of yellow, red, orange.
And so there's this guy named B.J. Fogg, who's referred to as the modern day Bernays, which is, you know, Sigmund's nephew, at the Stanford Persuasive Technology Lab. He taught entrepreneurs on how to use hot triggers such as thumbs up and like statistics to activate short hits of dopamine so the brains literally get addicted to social media.
Like this video.
Yeah. Hit that like button.
Subscribe to the podcast for more.
It gives us a hit of dopamine.
Yeah,
please, let us know
God.
what you want us to talk about.
Please.
I love my dopamine.
You guys know who Wayne Chaliki is?
No.
Wayne Chaliki is the Global Corporate Innovations Director of General Mills. And
nice.
I don't know if you heard, but kids in South Asia are like starting to get more and more like American kids.
Fat?
Like undernourished, overweight, because General Mills is dabbling their fingers over there. And on record, Chaliki said, when it comes to targeting kid consumers, we at General Mills believe in getting them early and having them for life.
Absolutely. Because it's a business. They don't really care about public health. The only reason any company cares is because either the consumer steps in or because the government has a big sham about wanting to care about their customers.
Well, with their advertising, they're literally conditioning them to spend more money on like shit food. In 2017, there was a leaked document revealed that Facebook was boasting to their advertisers on how they can identify in real time when teenagers feel insecure or worthless and would most be susceptible to a confidence boost.
That's crazy.
That's fucked.
Wow.
That's so fucked.
That's so cool.
Like I mean, it's cool.
I feel like that's the wrong response to
I
that.
mean,
Jace.
It's
No,
cool,
that's
but it's also
fascinating.
proper like manipulation.
No, yeah, that's
of the
insanely fucked up, but
masses.
that shit is fascinating. The fact
It is,
that a
yeah.
single corporation can operate under that mindset and fuck with the general population, because I think, doesn't Facebook have over like, what, 3 billion users?
I think it's
One-
got like a third of the world's population or something.
like that's mind-boggling that it has that capability.
Can't tell when I'm feeling that way, unless it knows that I'm feeling desperate when I go on Facebook Marketplace.
That's why I only use Facebook for Facebook Marketplace.
Jake, are you a sports guy?
No.
Okay, so Ben, this is mostly going to be directed towards you and your opinion on it. So,
Michael Jordan was a robot.
do you think sports are scripted?
Ooh.
Because
Oh, that's so good. Oh,
with
man.
the rise of questionable calls by refs and the use and like the lack of use by slow-mo or playbacks or installing a sky judge in NFL sports, people think that that's how it goes.
There are certain moments that I feel are absolutely scripted.
Jake, so yeah, you're not aware of sports or anything like that in that aspect?
No, but I mean, I would definitely believe it, but I feel like it's not going to be like 100% scripted. Say refs have like, not necessarily like someone in their pocket or in their ear,
They're in someone's pocket.
but yeah.
They're
So-
getting paid.
With
to
them,
like manipulate the scores. Like, obviously you can't say, okay, this game, this team's going to score 101, this team's going to score 99. You know, you obviously can't.
you can't control that.
You can't
precisely.
control that, but
You can control the outcome.
yeah. So I feel like refs, I don't actually know this, but I feel like it's possible that refs could be being paid off to manipulate the final outcome of the game.
So one of the other major reasons for this being a rather large conspiracy is because back in 1919 was the Black Sox scandal. Do you know this, Ben?
Yeah, it was when the White Sox threw the entire game, through the World Series. I believe the first World Series that they had gone to, they threw it because they had all bet themselves to lose.
And it almost dissolved the MLB. With the more recent
nerd.
implication of betting in the sports world,
Implementation.
refs have a better capability to throw stuff because other people
Well, that
can...
ref could literally 5 minutes before the game starts go on DraftKings, put 10 fucking grand on whatever team, and then try to manipulate it so that their team wins.
Yeah, because there's been so many like bad calls in a wide variety of sports. I mostly looked at the NFL because that's where people have the most stake, I guess, because there's a lot of betting in the NFL world.
There's also a lot of
In the NBA.
shitty fucking calls.
Exactly.
In the NFL.
And then since the NFL is a business first, then it's did you know the NFL is actually a sports entertainment company?
Mm-hmm.
It's classified as sports entertainment. Same as WWE, not to the same extent though.
Yeah.
But it's a business first, it's entertainment 2nd, and sports last.
Recently it started last year when everyone's like, the fucking NFL's scripted. It's scripted. And everybody started believing it. And then this year, before the season started, which Football Sunday, hoorah, is today, game 1 of the year. Or I guess that was on Thursday. The Chiefs and the Lions played, and Kadarius Toney absolutely sold, probably in the script. But the NFL actually, in their advertising leading up to the start of the season this year, were playing into it. Where
Really?
there were advertisements of like a bunch of famous players sitting down for the annual script read.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like that's good marketing, but like
it was
that's
pretty
really
funny.
it's really on the nose, don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what they were going for.
Like the rumors of it being fake also happen in the MLB and boxing and MMA nowadays, because MMA back then, there's no fucking staging those fights.
There's
You guys ever watch early MMA fights?
oh yeah,
Like
before
Frey
it was
versus
huge.
Takayama?
Fucking
Where it's just,
people like dying on the fucking mat.
yeah, where it was like, I believe, I think he's like 6, no, maybe it might be like 5'11" versus just a fucking big ass boy at like 6'5".
That sounds
Just
fair.
walking at each other, just wailing on 'em. There's, I believe it's like a 30-second stint of where they're just constantly hitting each other in the face. Have you seen that video?
Mm-mm.
Weight classes.
Yeah, like I said, the Wild West of MMA days. There's no script in that shit. But nowadays, again, even with some fucking sham ass calls that have happened.
I think that's something that'd be harder to fake. If you were actually faking it, it would be obvious, like the WWE.
Right. Well, like I said, that's why people normally say it's the actual refs because they make shitty calls.
Well, how do you feel about the UFC? Like
Same thing.
with
It's the calls.
yeah.
It's like boxing.
With
Logan
fucking,
Paul
like-
should have won that first fight.
I was just about to say.
This is like kind of on the same tangent, but a little off topic. Do you remember the time we were watching WWE here, and they like cut to commercial, but didn't cut the feed, and they just walked away?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
That
Were
was
you
some
there
good
for that?
shit.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I've been to like WWE like live
Mm-hmm.
before, and you know how they have like Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and they have like the Thursday like Diva Night. Or at
They
least
do it
that's
all
how.
at the same time.
Yeah,
don't
they do it all in the same time frame. And like I went to it on like I think it was like a Tuesday, was when I went. I was
On a
really young.
Tuesday.
Tuesday
dude, the
night, Diva
Divas-
smacked Raw.
Dude, the Divas. I was like fucking 13 years old, 12 years old, and I was
Changed your
just
life.
like, oh my god. And she was making like sexy comments. She's like, oh, why don't you guys come over? We can turn things on. Like my Xbox. I vividly remember that. I was just like, oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, Tim Donaghy fixed the 2006 NBA Finals. The Mavericks were like heavy favorites. And then all of a sudden, after winning like the first 2 games or whatever, they didn't win another game. And every like box score you look at, it's like the Mavs shot like 10 free throws and the Heat shot like 46.
Damn.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy.
God, if only we could get it on this
I'm going to become a
sports
ref.
train.
If only we could become the bourgeoisie.
We could have.
We'd
cool
have birds working for us, dude. It'd be pretty sick.
I've got one other little thing. It's called the McDougal experiment.
Mm.
It was so just out of curiosity, how much you guys weigh? How much y'all weigh? I'll bleep it in case you're a little self-conscious.
Like 160.
Really? Like 190.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Like 210.
Really?
It's the height.
Anyways, the correct answer is 21.3 grams. So, back in 1907, there was a man who took 6 dying patients.
That's how much your soul weighs. That's the difference in weight you are after you die.
Exactly.
Okay, I
because
do know what you're talking about.
one person lost 21.3 grams when they died, and they just fucking ran with it.
Was it because he shit himself?
Nobody knows. But yeah, so your soul weighs 21.3 grams.
Or your poop?
So the other 5 individuals clearly had no soul. No soul whatsoever. He also conducted this experiment on 15 dogs. Now,
Dogs have no souls.
Every dog
that
had a
is
soul.
what he claimed because he wanted to test to see if humans had a soul because he claimed that animals had no soul. So he tried, keyword is unfortunately tried, to find 15, dying
dogs.
animals. He didn't. So he poisoned 15 dogs.
Oh my god.
And he
That's terrible.
Science.
wanted to see if it happened. This experiment has never been reconducted or anything.
Wonder
because-
why.
Yeah. But I just thought that was very fascinating that your soul weighs 21.3 grams.
Not to get all like mythical and shit. But like so he did
Religious?
Spiritual.
spiritual.
Lyrical.
Spiritual
Individual.
lyrical miracle.
Fuck. We're getting into it.
What
now.
if
We're leaning.
so he did it on 5 people? What if they were bad people?
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's no
What
conclusive
if-
evidence for it. But what if they were genuinely? What if they lost their soul?
What if there's
Even if
things that you can do in your life? Like this is getting really spiritual, okay? What if there's decisions that you make in your life that like affects that?
how much you poop when you die?
Because
No, like-
that's a real question. Like, do parts of your soul chip away?
Because
Or
like
is
if
it-
I'm being a piece of shit to you, like if I'm being a piece of shit my whole
If.
life, and then you weigh me after death, no soul. But if I'm like the nicest guy in the fucking world, I'm curious if that could have an effect on it. I mean, that's very spiritual thinking. But
I mean, in my mind, I mean, is this like presuming heaven or hell?
This is just presuming that there is a spirit. However,
yeah,
I don't
this is
know
just
if the
presuming
test-
that you do have a soul. Okay.
it's that would be like the conscience of the body, because getting into that, the fact that our neurons all fire in this order to where we can have this super fucking meta conversation, like, it would make sense that through evolution there would be some sort of thing, right? But also that goes back into maybe if God created us, that's the thing. Well, how would you?
Because, I mean, realistically speaking, we are not our bodies. We are our brains. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't even say we're our brains. I would say, I don't even know how to
That's the
describe
thing.
it.
So that's why a soul would be used to define that, is because that would be your conscious, would be your soul, your
consciousness.
spirit, yourself. Because, like I said, the contrast is everything works properly by insane complications just firing correctly in a whole system that's been evolved over millions of years.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's really trippy to think about.
Now again, just so this doesn't, mind fuck you or anything, no other evidence for this, no concrete scientific thing.
Well, that's what makes it more mind fucky. Because now it's all up to interpretation.
Because it's been over 100 years since it was done.
The Gulf of Tonkin incident that incited the U.S.'s involvement in the Vietnamese War.
Oh, I know about that.
Not a fucking clue what you're talking about.
So it was alleged by the U.S. government that the USS Maddox was attacked unprovoked by I believe it was the North Vietnamese?
I believe so. It was a torpedo, if I'm correct.
The ship was sunk and there were no souls left alive. And we were told it was an unprovoked attack that got us to become involved in the Vietnamese War. But as it turns out, the ship was actually aiding the... Yep, it was aiding the South Vietnamese. Got that one right. And
Yeah, that's what I said.
yeah. They were aiding the South Vietnamese, and that was why it was sunk by the North Vietnamese, a.k.a. Viet Cong, as we so liked to coin them. And, yeah, so we were just lied to, and that got us to become involved in the...
Greatest war America has ever fought in.
The greatest war we ever fucking lost.
We didn't lose.
Yeah, technically we're still at a ceasefire.
We technically made a plan, because the Lorax kept fucking getting us.
Yep, but it does beg the question, what other things were we lied to about to get us into other wars, gentlemen? The world may never know.
And this has been the BDB podcast. Stay hard.
Yeah, no,
So how about that COVID vaccine, huh?
Oh, jeez. You guys getting a new one, or?
There's a new one?
Yeah, they're coming out with a new one. They're going to launch it in September.
It's starting to come out every year. It's like FIFA.
The mailman's
I didn't
here.
come up with one just so.
The mailman's here.
He's just gonna watch.
Pros of us recording outside. The
He's gonna
mailman's
take a photo
here.
of us and put it on his Snapchat story. Like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
They're all lying.
You can perfectly see us.
Hey, do you think birds are real?
That mail truck works for the
He
government.
works for the government. Yeah, holy.
Fuck.
The government's spying on us.
Shit, he's coming back.
Get the gun.